There we go. Can you hear me okay? Fantastic. I will try to live up to that brilliant intro. I don't think it's possible, but thank you very much. That was some really nice things to say. As Aaron said, I have got a lot about history in this book and a lot about genealogy. I got the genealogy book very young when I was about 11, so I've been doing it for 20 years. And two of the poems that I'm going to read tonight, one of them is related to my own genealogy, which is the title poem of my collection called Fleet Salvage. And this is related to my granddad. Years after he died, a friend of his from the Navy wrote into the newspaper after seeing his memoriam to say, was this the same man he'd known? And he came to talk to me and my mum and my auntie and my grandma, and he told us all these stories about my granddad's time in the Navy, some of which we'd heard from his side, some of which we hadn't. But it was a whole realignment of history and understanding of someone you'd loved and known. So this is Fleet Salvage, Coulthard's dad. In memoriam, Walter Coulthard, 1925 to 2002, and Hughie Bell, 1925 to 2015. Portsmouth. We do not set sail to be salvagers. I don't fancy the army, and my eyes are too weak for the Air Force to have me. But a fortnight into training, I'm still turning green. Can only walk crabwise across the boards. Spend my nights practicing under the stars. My days out at sea, throwing up overboard. Rounding the forecastle, I pause. Walter Ernest Coulthard's leaning on the rail. Another Prestonian, a natural sailor, swaying gently with the swell. The sod might as well be waltzing. The tug lurches left, sends me thunking sideways against the bow. I scowl. He turns, already grinning. No hard feelings, Belly. My dad's a champion clog dancer, and I got my feet from him. 2. Falmouth. Only 2 of us made it this far south of Preston. I can't hate him forever. I'll be stuck with Taffy weeping at the sight of leeks. Sam and Rufus arguing the superiority of sheep over pigs. No one to know what butter pie actually is. I can put up with him, the great git, if it means there's another northerner to commiserate with. Though everything seems easy to Coulthard, Walt's just another motor mechanic. Baby-faced and big-handed, confessing over rum how his first apprenticeship ended by whacking his bullying boss over the head with a plank. I gawp, he winks. Don't worry, I pulled the swing, only winded him. My dad's a prize fighter, I got my arm from him. 3. Plymouth. I, Midshipman Bell, newly minted, wait outside a bakery whilst Midshipman Coulthard negotiates on cake. Feeling natty in my dress whites, the hat, the scarf, the kit bag. The looks from the ladies might beat even planes. I've got a week of leave to find out before my ship sails. Minutes stretch. Walt steps out to a tinkling bell and laughter, arms festooned with string shopping bags. You eat like a bloody gannet. We're only going on the train. He frowns, solemn, produces a large Victoria sponge, breaks it down the middle, offers me half. I refuse, watch, horrified, as he eats his way through the other saying round the crumbs. My dad won the county pie eating competition. I got my appetite from him. 4. Ceylon. 13 months after waving Walt off home to his sweetheart, special licence wedding and choice salvage assignment, Sam hurls himself into his hammock, sends it swinging to and fro, pushing off with one sock-escaped toe. His eyelids blooming algae green under the brow line, sighs. Bet Coulthard's dad would have knocked Big Bill out first time. I measure up in my head that glimpse of Walt's father at Preston Station, 5 foot only on his tiptoes and spats. Bill stomping around the docks, breaking up cadets, pallets, This 6 foot in his socks, poorly or not, Somerset farmer. He's a prize fighter, mate. Of course he would. 5. Middle of nowhere, Russia. And I only know that from the cold and the coffee. 2 months after Victory Day, the clean-up continues. I've yet to see any parades. Instead, I'm standing ankle-deep in the snowdrift that slid inside this half-stripped ordnance office north of Moscow, contemplating the listing carcass of a filing cabinet slumped drunkenly against the wall, too heavy to tilt out of the bunker. Chief Petty Officer Hughes straightens, scratches his balding head, gives up. We're never going to get this out of here. Empty the drawers, put it in boxes instead. The fella next to me, brand new, the shine barely off him, sighs, shrugs, says definitively, Coulthard's dad could have done it. 6. Home port. I pass him sometimes in town, on the way to the market, or at Preston Guild with Dot and their 3 kids, smiling, proud, filled out again after the malaria. We talk in passing. In the end, Walt was the salvager. I shuttled from North Atlantic convoys to Asia, Africa, only ever earned a 2-month salvage secondment near the end of the war, skulking low in the water off the south of France. Found myself hauling up chunks of the first sea home we ever had, sunk by some other unlucky chump, who might have had our cabin, run his fingers over the initials on the underside of the bunk. WEC, HB, ST, GT. Coulthard's dad was here. When I first told Walt all of this, we were neither of us long home, still stretched thin and swaying, like tall ships run aground on the cobbles and sets by the murky waters of Preston Dock. I said, Russia felt a little like that, standing in that bunker in the middle of nowhere, gasping like a landed fish, perversely proud that our joke had run its way around the world. Ernest Coulthard, prize fighter, clog dancer, champion pie eater, barely 5 foot in his spats. A giant, crossing countries and continents in a single bound. Proud, but still wanting to shout. It's not just words. That's mine. That's ours. You don't know. You don't know what that means. Thank you. So for my next one, I'm going to read one from my census taking series. A lot of the poems in this book are either on the longer side or part of poetic series, and there's a long series of them at the back called Census Taking, which are drawn from my experience with genealogy and the different ways that people just escape categorization on things like the census. There's only so many boxes to fill in and no life ever fits in them. And this is one of them. 7th of April, 1861, 4 Back Brick Road, Halifax. The census with the most missing pages. Alice lands in the doss house on Jail Lane, practicing her balancing act, sliding new names across the tip of her tongue in front of the cracked hall mirror. Head held high, chin tilted, a little like accepting Holy Communion, straining her neck to reach the priest's fingers, curving up bird-like to accommodate benediction. Anne Astor, Phyllis Howe, Amen. She slinks out into Halifax, in Mary Niles' tender skin. It pulls a little to smile, expression not yet worn in. She turns, collides on the step with Tom coming in, wrists aching, nostrils nick from shaving with arms stronger, lighter than the last time he was permitted use of a razor. Sorry, Miss, she says, just Miss. He glances down at their hands, a pale freckled band curled around her finger, like dust scattered in that slash of light that leaks through the slats in the attic room shutter. Scar tissue leans out under his cuff for a better look. Shiny, nearly as red as the tips of his ears. They spend the next 6 months learning to lie together before sharing this bed in the back room above Mrs. McGinty's kitchen. The smell of soup seeping up through the floorboards to linger in the bedclothes. Last week, their pillows reeked of parsnip and leek every time they turned, seeking the cool side like the rabbit roasting on a spit downstairs. Tom Pine, lodger. Mary Pine, lodger's wife. Liars and criminals, the pair. Thank you.